He's trying to do fingerprints right now. So, now what's going on?
Oh, I was just trying to elaborate on what we talked about Friday because it was such a quick thing. Apparently she waited at the police department and then signed a complaint on me saying that I violated a court order. And I was like, well, I guess that the part I have a problem with is that, she was never, the kids had bruises when she brought them back. It was medically documented, but she never was charged with anything. And I asked Gerard, I'm sure you're familiarized with him, he's the guy that deals with the 960s, and he said he was busy today, but he would get back to me. But now, is the investigation closed, or is it still an ongoing thing, or is it something that...
Okay, on the investigation, on the law enforcement side, we're letting them handle it, okay? Okay, so whatever Gerard's doing, that's his deal.
Okay.
On child welfare safety, when the workers went in and talked to you and then went down and visited with the mom, both cases, I'm trying to think off of my head because I haven't seen the folder, which is missing. I don't know, for some reason all these folders are missing.
Because they talked to my babysitter too.
Yeah, and according to them is they were going to go ahead and continue with a court order that she could have those visits until both of you can decide on going back into court and revisiting that issue.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's mainly what I told her when she came in as well, because she was fighting me on supervised visitation.
Yeah, she doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to, and that's something that you need to address with the courts, is saying, okay, we have all these allegations in the past, whether they were substantiated or unsubstantiated, but these incidents have happened, and I would like a supervised visit schedule.
Okay.
And wherever you're wanting her to have it done, probably in Double Slate, closer to...
Yeah, she's right a block away from where she lives.
Yeah, and it has to be ordered through tribal court.
Okay. And that's why I said she should refile down there. Instead, she's looking to try to get me in trouble with my job. I'm not by all means trying to keep the kids from her, but after so many times, it's like, okay, this is if I let them go on Friday, she starts school tomorrow. We do orientation at 12:30 today at Sweetwater, but she would have brought her back full of head lice. School would have been calling me, come get your kid, and they can't return until they clean up, and then Friday comes again. And then we're back at square one. And then it's an ongoing...
Yeah, that's what I mean is you need to go back into court and talk to the judge. These kids need stability. They can't be going from this home to this home. I mean, he's got to decide to say, okay.
Yeah. And about 95% of the time, if I'm not at work and they're at the babysitters when I'm at work, they're with me.
Yeah.
I don't let them go to anybody else.
See, those are the things that you need to talk to the judge about. Yeah. Let him know, where are the kids most of the time and who are they with. And if she's to have visitation, let it happen. When they're on school break or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's up to you guys to make that decision, not up to us.
Now, what's the basis to file a 960? I mean, I've never really filed a 960 till just this last time. And then from my understanding, it's her just continuously up there, just, up here saying, he's doing this wrong. He's not doing this right. He's doing... when I think we talked, and within that week, the mom showed up at the babysitter's place, the grandmother, and showed up at the baby's place. And they were outside playing, all the kids, and the adult went in to grab something, come out, and there was the grandmother visiting with the kids, which is not a problem, but and then she started asking, well, who are you? Do you babysit these kids? Do you, which I kind of got upset, and I'm like, those words probably don't even come out of her mouth when her daughter has these kids, because from my understanding, they're at aunties, they're at cousins, they're at...
But not with the mom.
Not with the mom.
Okay, so those are the things that you need to tell the judge. And you need to have strong evidence when you go into court. Well, you know that. Yeah.
That's why I got everything. You see in that folder, it's all documented.
Yeah.
Everything.
And those are the kind the things that you need to show the judge.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't understand what, like Friday, I was kind of like upset. I was like, oh, let her, and it's like, yeah, if she would, show that she's got a history of taking care of the kids, but like when she first left, she had both of the kids for a whole month, and I left her alone, and I said, I'll pay you child support. But when her family started calling, so she's leaving these kids they haven't eaten, and she's out doing this and that, maybe you should try to take these kids. And I'm like, because I'm taking care of my older two, and I'm like, geez, that's a lot to take on. It's 4 kids by yourself. And after thinking about it, I was like, okay, so when we went to court, I got physical custody of them. And it gets hard at times, and sometimes I say, well, I wish the other parent would kind of help out. But if it doesn't, I know we talked about if the 960s were filed, that you guys were going to take the kids and place them.
And the reason for that is because she was in here yelling and stuff, and I said, well, if you file a 960 again, and the dad files a 960, and we're caught in the middle of this, I said, we have to protect the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, if it means us taking the kids underneath us and putting them someplace else, and then have you guys working on a plan. In the meantime, we're going to do it, because you have so many 960s in the file for us to say, it's not very consistent. And we really don't want to do that. We really want you guys to really work it out through the court system, because that's where everything came from.
And see, with her, she's filed, like I've noticed numerous 960s from the get-go. From the very separation, there was a 960 filed. And I'm like, okay, I'll, let them do their job, do whatever. And I wasn't one to come up here. I kept trying to work with her, and regardless, it was like, okay, it almost seemed like she took on the attitude, I could do whatever I want, and you're just going to deal with it. So finally I got fed up with it, and I said, look, okay, I think I need to get somebody else involved, so it doesn't make it look like I'm just doing this stuff with the courts. And I was like, maybe social services steps in, they investigate it, they could see that I'm not just making stuff up. This is all really happening. And I know when she first left, she was, we're all in counseling. I think you asked us that if we were in counseling. We're all in counseling. The counselor got to meet with Fran for several months, and then diagnosed her. And then when she left, and we were going through the deal with the kids, the counselor said, anybody could have those kids except for you. And I'm like, why? What did I do? And Fran used to say it. She would say, my kids are better off in foster homes than they are with you. And I'm like, really? Do you know what the foster home system's really like out there? Because I work in law enforcement for 16 years. I've seen things go on that wasn't right, and all I'm trying to do is protect the kids. That's, because if I didn't care, there was times I got so frustrated for what she was doing to me with trying to use the kids and da-da-da. I walked into the police department one day and I said, you know what, call her up, tell them to come get them. Because I can't keep, constantly responding to all, who has that much time in a day to make some, focal point of a certain person to make their life that hard? And then I thought about it and I'm like, it's not these kids' fault what she's trying to do. It would be wrong for me to say, because she'll take the kids and she'll still be coming after me. And it's gone tired. It's been 2 years, and
that's why I said you need to readdress this issue in tribal court and say you want full custody of these kids, and you're willing to do, her have visitation when school is out, just for a limited time with supervision.
And were you guys able to contact the safe home at all?
No, because we just thought that you needed to address it in tribal courts. And we were going to do the supervised visits here ourselves, but then she was throwing up flags and should I wasn't court ordered, and
Yeah.
I said, well, you know,
But she was...
960 on you, and we take these kids, you will be court ordered.
Yeah.
Supervisor, I told her.
You know, and then she goes to the dispatcher and tells her, yeah, that's probably the best thing. Just take them, put them in, you know, and they're safe where they're at. And like Karen E said, anybody could have these kids but you. That's why when she takes them on visits, everybody else has got them except for her. You see her out at movies, you'll see her out in public, at bars, and it's like casino. It's like, okay, where are the kids at? And I have not talked to these people for over a year now. And I'm like, I don't bother myself. And I'm like, at first it was kind of like an iffy thing, but then I thought, well, she's the mom. She wouldn't put these kids in harm's way. I'm hoping not anyways, but, you know, because that's how I am. You know, I don't put my mom always raised me. She said, my boy, when you have kids, that's your responsibility. It's not for me to raise, and it's not for somebody else to raise. You decide to have those children, you need to raise them. So, with that in mind, I've always, you know, my oldest is going to be 18 here in April. I raised him when his mom left. He was 7 years old, I think he was. And then my youngest was 1. And then on this one here, same thing. The youngest was 1 and she was 3. And she never came around at all. She knew. I mean, I didn't move. She never once said, could I see the kids? She was out having fun. And then when the child support stepped in, it was, you could ask me for money. And I'm like, yeah, well, you also knew where the kids lived. And not once did you say, do they need anything? So she plays this very manipulative person. And that's the reason why I quit talking to the whole family. They'll draw you in and act like your best buddies. Baby, shut that off. The red button. Yep. No? Let me see. There. But they'll draw you in, get you to believe that they're your really close friend, take things, use it against you, and next thing you know, you're on the defensive of like, oh my God, what's going on? And I understand why she doesn't want to do supervised visits. I mean, we all know. She's, like I said, she takes the kids, interrogates them, gets what she needs out of them, and then she's up here filing a 960. And then she takes the kids and drops them off at her mom's. Her niece told me that she doesn't know why she takes the kids. I'm at social services, I'll call you back. But, she said when she got what she wanted out of the kids, then Connie had them, Connie Baker. And she said never once went to see them, never once. And it's like, why fight for the kids if you're not going to actually spend time with them? Because I know she's been in court several times. Oh, I miss my kids. I love my kids. I miss them so much. The day she gets them, somebody else has them and she's at the casino or... You know, and a lot of times now people want to tell me things, and I'm like, whatever, I don't want to hear it, because what can you do? I mean, I bring it up in court, and then I'm considered like I'm lying, and her family sticks up for her. And she's such a great mom, and it's like, oh. But yeah, I just wanted to get that clarified, because I was like, I don't know what's going on, I don't, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I told her, is you need to readdress this in court.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's a custody issue, but if we get a 960, yeah, we're going to go out and investigate. But how many 960s can we substantiate? I mean, somewhere there's going to be a substantiated 960, and then that's going to be a base where we're going to take the kids down.
And like I've been down to the courthouse, and I got after when I talked to the judge, I was like, she walked in here, wrote a 3-line statement. You guys did up a court order. When this all first happened, I walked down there, and they kept pushing it off on you guys. Well, if social services says we have to, then we will. And I'm like, she never went to social. She came down here, and my fear is, well, now that she knows if a 960 is filed, they'll take the kids. Who's to say she's not going to make something up and be like, oh, if I file this, at least he won't have them.
Yeah, and see, I knew by talking to you that you were, I knew for a fact that that's what she was going to do when she went out to the PD. Okay. I knew she was going to make a complaint. But the reason why that visit couldn't happen is because you were already en route to a funeral.
Yeah.
And she's wanting to visit right at the last minute.
Yeah.
I told her that she needed to really coordinate with you and set up a time.
Yeah.
Well, it's already said in the court order. I go, it could have been said in the court order, but you need to give them time.
Yeah.
And you have the kids ready.
And see, I'll probably stop down there now and say they gotta, until maybe we put the visitation on hold until we could go to court. And then that way, because the judge told her, she knows, the judge told her, another one of these little episodes where the kids come back with head lice, well, they came back with bruises and stuff. He said, there ain't no more, you get to see the kids. It will now then be supervised. Mr. Little One has already set it up. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Okay.
See, if you have all those documentation, then I suggest you go back into court and revisit that issue and see if he can stop those visits. And she gets parenting. I don't know. So the judge, whatever he decides, I can't. Where's it?
It'll be the supervisor. Like I said, I set him up to a block from her place. It couldn't get possibly any easier for her. Mm-hmm. But like I said, she doesn't want somebody sitting there because the person doing the visit said if she starts interrogating these kids, if she starts asking questions pertaining to you, visitation's over.
That's the way that I'm trying to get my supervision set because I've done them before.
Yeah.
And other agencies, not in the government, but in the private sector.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I did my visitations too.
And
either parent or so and so is doing this. I stop it right away.
Yeah.
I make the parent leave. And calling the parents to come get it.
Yeah, and see, that's what she said. She said, and our entity is willing to work with the reservation, willing to work with surrounding courts, because nobody else has this, and that's what they're there for. The safe home. I think it's safe alternative for abused families environment or something like that. But yeah, it was all set up. And the ball was now in her court, but it's like, even with the court order to do anger management, she wasn't going to do it. She figured, well, I might as well get it done. It's been 2 years, I might as well get it done, so it kind of looks good on my part. But the same month that she completed is the same month that these kids came back with bruises, so.
Yeah, well, that's what I would tell you is go back and revisit court, see if you can work it out.
Okay. Alright, that's what I'll have to do then.
Yeah.
That way we don't have some misunderstanding, because I was confused when they called. It was the last second day the PD called me. Mm-hmm. I was like, friends in here, and I was like, for what? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, she's waiting for the kids, and I'm like, wow. This is supposed to go back to court before anything. And so I said, well, all you got to do is tell her to send her down to the courts. Mm-hmm. Well, she didn't want to go down to the courts either. She was like, no, I want to file a complaint against him. All right.